Hey, Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akim that's pushing his word in truth and sincerity. This is Amathia from the GMS Dallas Camp. I wanted to go into a quick lesson in regards to the bloodline, how it flows through Israel. Okay, the blessing flows through Israel. All right. Not through every other nation, which basically the nation of Israel, if you're gonna receive that salvation or get saved from the thermonuclear destruction from the day of the Lord, then you do have to be a part of the nation of Israel. Not saying all of Israel will be saved, but the elect. Okay, out of all of Israel, 2/3 will be left behind to receive the judgment upon the earth. Okay. But what I want to do is go into, like I say, the blessing which flows through Israel. Okay, the blessing that was through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This is Romans 9, and we're going to read 1 through 4 or 5. It says, I say the truth in Mashiach, I lie not, my conscience also bearing me witness in the Holy Spirit that I have great heaviness and continual sorrow in my heart. For I wish myself were accursed from Mashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. And this is Paul letting you know that he's basically going into the people that his brother, his kinsman. Who is your kinsman? That is someone who's kin through you through blood. My cousin. You know what I'm saying? Who are Israelites. Verse 4, okay? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, and the promises. And service of the Most High. Who is the Most High? That's Yahweh. Now, when you read up in verse 4, when it says, who are Israelites, okay? And who was Israel? His name before he wrestled with the actual angel. Okay, his name was Jacob, and Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and he had those 12 patriarchs, right? And he had a twin brother, which was Esau, which is tell you in Genesis 25 and 23 that there were twins that were fighting in the womb, and one the oldest and like I say, one was the older would serve the younger. Okay, all right. This is the branch that went through Abraham and Isaac. Okay, and that branch split, and it split into two. Okay, but the blessing, the covenant, goes through one branch after being coming through the seed of Jacob, whose name will later turn to Israel, and his 12 sons who received it. All right. But if you want to go further than that, how the blood, how it goes through, when we go and we know about when we go through the Garden of Eden, we had Adam and Eve, then we had Cain and Abel. Cain slew Abel, okay, and Abel was basically thrown out of kicked out of the garden, and his skin. He had the curse of Cain, which the Edomites have today, which Esau had, which is the lack of pigment. That's why he said, "How would anybody, if anyone see me, basically, I'm not going to look like them, and they're going to kill me." And he said, anybody touch Cain will basically will have curses come upon them. That also lets you know that it was more people on the earth besides at that time after the slaying of Abel. It was, they say 3 beings, so we know it was more beings. If you say, hey, if somebody see me, they'll kill me. But like I say, we're going into the blessing. So that blessing went through again through Seth. Okay, let's go into Genesis 4. And like I said, now we wanted to jump back, okay, and kind of move up into the line of Isaac and Jacob. So we got to go back and go see how Abraham received the bloodline. I mean, received the blessing and how it continued. But this is, like I say, it's the last verse. Okay, so this is Genesis 4:26. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Now Seth, if you read up, that's who received the blessing that it went through after the slewing of Abel, and Adam and Eve had another son. Let's jump in verse 25. Okay, verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, Slaki, and called his name Seth. For Yahweh has she said, she has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. All right, and Seth, to him also there was born a son. He called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Most High, which is Yahweh. That is the name of the Most High, and it's in capital letters, so that lets you know that is talking about the Most High. All right. So during the time of Enos, this is when the time where you see the name of the Lord being brought upon the people. So you can look at that. That is basically showing you that the blessing is going through, because the name, that's a strong tower. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. So this is the name. Okay, so basically Adam and Eve had a standard, okay, amongst the earth. You know what I'm saying? The Adamites. You can read, matter of fact, it says, verse 5 and 1, Genesis 5 and 1. This is the book of the generations of Adam in the day that the Most High created man in the likeness of I'm gonna read it verbatim. This is the book of generations of Adam. In the day of God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and called and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. Okay, and like I said, he called their name Adam. All right. But just a side note, because like you say, through through Adam, like you say, it came through the bloodline of Shem. Okay, it was read at the end, and through Shem was Enos, and Enos, that's when the name calling of the Lord. Okay, and you can back that up with Baruch 2:32. Now, when you get into Genesis 5, also it goes into the bloodline. It goes into Seth, Enos. We went through Seth, Enos. Like it says, Canaan in verse 9. If you just keep reading through here, you're gonna go through. You're gonna get to Enoch, as you read in Hebrews 11. He walked with the Most High. Okay. Even in here, what is Enoch, Genesis 5 and 25. 24. It says that Enoch walked with the Most High, and he was not, for Yahweh took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years and begot Lamech. And Lamech and Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 782 years and begat sons and daughters. Okay, and if you read on down, who after Lamech, who comes forth? Noah. All right, Noah. And you got to think, during the time of Noah, you had the flood. And during the time of the flood, who lived? You had Noah and his three sons. Noah, his wife, which is two, his three sons, which makes 5, and then you had what? They 3 daughters. So it was 8 beings that lived throughout the flood. All right. And like I say, we're going the blessing what it flows through, right? So we see that Noah was through the bloodline of uh, Seth, which was Enos. If I'm not pronouncing his name correctly, Canaan, and then you had Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, and Noah. Let you know that that's the bloodline. Okay, that is the blessing, and like I said, it flows through Israel. Now, when we keep going, if you go to Genesis 9, it lets you know also, since we're got to the point where we're at Noah, we're going to show that Noah was blessed as well. Okay? This is Genesis 9 and 8. Now, we started at Seth, and we just went through the bloodline that you can read about in Genesis 4 and 5. So we jumped to 9, so we're going into the covenant with Noah. All right? This is verse 8, Genesis 9 and 8. And Yahweh spake unto Noah and to his sons with him, saying, and who was the son? Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? It says, and I, behold, I established my covenant with you and with your seed after you. He didn't say with your seeds. It wasn't plural with 3 sons, with your seed after you. Okay? And that covenant went through the line of Shem. Okay? That covenant went through the line of Shem. And matter of fact, we're gonna. This is verse 17. And Yahweh said unto Noah, this is the token and the covenant that I will establish between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. Okay, now this is going to that everlasting covenant and how he put the bow into the clouds. Okay, let's keep going. And it says, and the sons of Noah that went forth out the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham is the father of Canaan, right? And what is the land of Canaan? That is the land of Israel. That the Lord said that was going to be the blessing. That's the land that's going to be received. Okay, through the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? And all right, so I kind of want to go into I want to keep going here. I want to actually jump into Genesis 17. Okay, because you got to think, after the flood, you had the Tower of Babel. Okay, which matter of fact, I know I'm all over the place. Slacky. Okay. Now, when you go into verse Genesis 10, it gives you you go into Ham. All right, and Ham had his Cush, Mizraim, Foot. You know what I'm saying, and Canaan. And it's going to give you all those, and it's going to keep going, right? All right, so when you get down a little further, okay, and go into the sons of Shem, all right? And it says in Shem, this is Genesis 10 and 22. The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Asphaxad, and Lud, and Aram, okay? And verse 23, and the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mesh, all right? And Aphesai begot Salah, and Salah begot Ebar, which is in Hebrew is Ibar, right? If you're looking at that, is where you going to getting the word or the name Hebrew from, right? And unto Ibar were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, and for his days was divided, the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Okay, and I think the time when they say Peleg during the days, it was divided, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, that was the time of the flood. Okay, And it says, and Joktan begot Amadad and Shalif and Hazar Marveth and Jerah and Hadaram and Juzael and Diklah and Abal and Abidmiel and Sheba and Ophir and Havilah and Jabal. All these were the sons of Joktan, okay? Now, if you keep going, it says, verse 31, these are the sons of Shem, and after the families, and after their tongues, and their lands, and after their nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah, after the generations and their nations. And by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So after the flood, the nations were divided. So when you got the division, and like I say, the time when Babylon was getting. Basically, that's what grew, okay? When you go into Shinar, the land of Shinar, all right? The Syrians and everything, this is the buildup right here. But where did the bloodline go through, right? After the Tower of Babel. This is when you're going into the city and the Tower of the Children, right? This is where everything was split during the time of Babel. And what does Babel mean? Okay? That means confusion. This is Genesis 11:9. Therefore, in the name of is the name of it called Babel. Okay, and what is that? Babylon, which is today, like today. Okay, this is the daughter of Babylon, and Babel, like I say, means confusion, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. All right. Now, if you keep going down, like you say, we went into Peleg, all right, and that's still through the bloodline. Now, we want to go down here to Nahor and Terah. Now, this is Genesis 11, okay, and 24. And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begot Terah. And Nahor lived after he begot Terah 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Abram is what the covenant flows through, okay? And we're going to get to that. We're going to jump to Genesis 17. But just keep going through a side note. You had Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran actually, that was Lot's dad. He passed away. And you can read about that. And keep going through this verse. You go through in verse 29 and married Sarah. Okay, Sarai, which name and like I say, Terah, he actually was worshiping other gods. Okay, so the Lord brought Abram out from under where he was raised with his father and moved him from the land. Okay. And in the time, you can read in verse 31. And Terah took Abram his son and Lot and the son of Haran and his Lot the son of Haran his son's son. So Lot was Abram's nephew, and Sarai his daughter-in-law. Okay, his son's Abram's wife, and they went forth with them of the Chaldeans. Forth with them from of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. There they came to Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah was 205, and Terah died. And I'm trying to think where exactly Terah you can find where he was worshiping other gods. I want to find it here. I think it's yeah. This is it right here. This is Joshua 24:2. It says, and Joshua said unto all the people, thus saith the Lord, the Most High Power of Israel, your fathers dwelt on the other side of the flood in old time, even Terah, the father of Abraham, the father of Nachor, and they served other gods. Okay. And it says, and I took, verse 3, and I took the father Abram from the other side of the flood and led them throughout all the land of Canaan and multiplied his seed and gave him Isaac. Okay. Now, one thing about that, he said he gave him Isaac. Why? Okay. Because he wanted to point that out, because that's basically what the bloodline through. Because, like I said, everybody receives a blessing. Okay. But we receive the blessing after Esau's blessing. Okay. We receive the kingdom. All right. This is Genesis 17. I'm going to read 1 through 4. Okay. And it says, and when Abram was 90 years old and nine, and the Lord appeared from Abram and said unto him, I am the almighty power. Okay. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell to his face, and Yahweh talked with him, saying, ask for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be the father of many nations. And that's a fact. He is the father of many nations. Okay? And like he said, if you keep reading, if you go to verse 7, it says, and I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations. You see seed again, and it's not saying multiple children. Whose name was changed to Abraham, had, if I'm not mistaken, 8 children. Yeah. And it says, after thee in the generations for an everlasting covenant to be a power unto thee and to thy seed after thee, right? So this is going into thy seed after thee. All right. And this is when you read verse 19 through 21, okay, it lets you know that he made that covenant with Abram, and where it goes through. It goes through who? Isaac. Okay. He made Ishmael great, but he actually made the everlasting covenant. Okay. That blessing of that everlasting covenant gonna flow through Isaac. I'm going to read Genesis 17, 19 to 21. And Yahweh said, Sarah, thy wife shall bear a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, and I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant. Okay? And with his seed after him. Okay? And the everlasting covenant is what we talked about in Romans 9. Okay? That's right. So let's keep going. All right, so verse 20, it says, as for Ishmael, I have heard thee, behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall be beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in next year. So that's that blessing, okay? And what is that blessing going through? Okay? Who did Isaac have? Okay? Who did Isaac have? Let's go back. This is Genesis 25. And I think I mentioned this, okay? Verse 23, because what happened? Isaac married Rebekah. She was barren, and then she ended up conceiving. She went up to a seer, which is a prophet, and asked what's wrong, so he went to see and wanted to follow up with the Most High, for he can basically provide what was going on. All right, so I want to read this here. This is Genesis 25. I'm going to read verse 21 through 26. It says, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And what is that? The Most High, when it's in all capital letters, Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of Yahweh, and the Most High said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Okay. All right. So the elder shall serve the younger. Verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, which Esau is the progenitor, or who bloodline flows through the so-called white people today. That is who Esau Edom is today, because he did have sons and wives as well. Okay, and they received a blessing, which is in Genesis 27, which is the sword, the gun today. All right. So Genesis 25 and 26, it says, and after that came his brother out, and he took his hand hold in Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Now you see they described Esau as like a hairy garment and things like that, red. They didn't describe Jacob. Why? Because he looked like everyone else. Okay. Esau looked like Cain when he was stripped from his pigment. Okay? Thus, reincarnation of Cain. This is the reincarnation of Cain and Abel. Right? And if you keep reading through here, this is when Esau sold his birthright for some red pottage, which is just some raw meat. Okay, and then, like I say, from here, this is where we end up through Jacob and Esau. And, this is going on kind of longer. What I'll do is I'll just continue on from here and just bring in another part 2 of this and go in, like I say, from Jacob and Esau coming out the womb, going into the time, up into the time of the blessing still continuing today through the nation of Israel. So with that, Lord willing, I hope it was edifying. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rachakadash. Double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to you, Akim. Shalom.